All right, there isn't a good way to do a cold open this week. What a week. And all of that just for a Joey Logano championship.
Surely the
All
most
of
disappointing outcome of this week.
This week was a hell of a week, and we capped off the week with a Joey Logano win and championship.
Yeah. Anyways, this is
What are we
Fake
doing?
Racers Podcast, everyone. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. No cold open this week. We
I need to make a
appreciate
sound
you.
drop for the all that for a Logano win. I was thinking about that earlier today at work.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be
I
good.
kind of like that, actually. That'd be really funny.
After
That'd be a really funny way to open every podcast
Logano wins.
after a Logano win, I think.
I'd like to remind
Yeah,
everyone to like, comment, subscribe. Go back and watch episodes throughout the season when you miss NASCAR this offseason. Write stuff down so that way nobody forgets it. And hopefully this podcast is better next year. Because continuous improvement is what we strive to do here at JTN. All right, track and
We're
turf.
always trying to get better. We're always better.
We can't get better
I'm trying
if
to
you
get
don't
worse.
argue with us. Oh, okay.
Matt's trying to get worse.
Yeah,
Matt's
Matt is from California. so.
Second time around.
But
both sides is rubbing off on you.
can't thank everyone enough for listening and supporting this year. We'll have another episode next week, but just wanted to say thanks here this week in case you don't want to hear our final grades for drivers. But I'm Joe.
I'm Davey.
Matthew.
I'm Davey.
I'm Joe, and this is the Fake Racers Podcast. And as we said, Joey Logano becomes a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion.
Why?
One of the fastest guys all day. I think he qualified on the
How?
front row. Had extra time to prepare for this race.
Ugh.
Was only here because of fuel mileage multiple
What
times.
the fuck?
And
It's only here because
somehow
Austin
had
Cindric
enough.
spun out in the middle of a straightaway at Nashville.
Yeah,
God damn it!
yeah. Joey Logano's season is one that I think we'll look back at. You know,
It
he
will
is
remain in
he
infamy.
is statistically. My roommates said this a lot. Statistically, the worst NASCAR champion in the Cup Series history.
Nice. Let's go. I love
And
it.
we're going to talk about the playoff format after we get through all these championship races, but
Yep.
I think it goes to show that when the 22 needs to turn it up or needs to pull something out of their butt, they can.
Yeah. Well, they didn't. They didn't want to pull anything out of their butt in the race that got them to the championship finale because Ryan Blaney pushing Joey Logano to help him win that race is essentially what kept Ryan Blaney from winning a championship this past Sunday.
Wah, wah, wah.
Man, it just like
Oopsies.
how many times this season we talked about like how many instant classics can you have in one year, and then it just ends on like, oh yeah, not only is
Well-
it just a butt ass finale at a terrible track, but then it's also like a driver that everybody, including local Joey Logano fan Austin Spencer, friend of the show, even agrees. He's like, I'm not even excited for this. Like, this just feels ridiculous. Like,
So, Blaney had a stellar drive there at the end of the race, right?
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Was quicker until he wasn't.
Yeah, I
I don't know if Logano's saving maybe a little bit too because he's got a big lead.
that's kind of what I thought because Blaney did
Blaney
take
had to use his
huge
stuff up.
bites out
Yeah.
of that lead, and he kind of he kind of got there and he was running like a lane below Joey in 1 and 2, and then he tried kind of like that late apex run off the corner thing, and it worked one time, and then he did it again, and
Never
it didn't
worked.
work, and then he did it again, and it didn't work, and then he did it again, and it didn't work, and I just was like kind of like he did it so many times that he had enough time to go back to running the bottom to catch him up, and then do it again and not make the pass.
Yeah.
And obviously this is like not an indictment on Blaney's driving because he was driving his ass off and was making up a lot of time. I just, like it's Joey Logano has put on a clinic. It's Joey Logano. You're gonna have to do better than trying to do like the most commonly done trick in oval racing to get around him. You're gonna have to really try and you got to out muscle him a little bit, and he just never got to that point. But I don't know. I'm wandering off now. But I mean, Joey Logano. Jesus Christ, where's my brain today, guys?
Joey Logano won and just held him off. Matt, what are your thoughts about Blaney's comeback?
To an MF?
Sorry, I had thoughts, but I lost them.
Yeah, it just like I don't know. And like obviously, I have a personal dislike of Joey Logano, but it really did just feel like nobody was pleased after this. Like
no one cared.
No one cared. There is a special, unique level of deflation that comes from a Joey Logano win, right?
Yeah.
Because it always comes after a lot of crazy stuff, and like this is like a perfect meta version of like the typical Joey Logano win, where it's all the cool stuff happens, and then you get down to the end and you're like, this is what we're doing, really? Like
this is
I mean, that was 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And what I was gonna say was, I like Joey Logano. Like he really benefited from being able on that last restart to get clear of everyone early and then drive away. Like he got ahead of William Byron, who, albeit it was only a few laps, but had older tires, and then
Blaney wasn't as good as him,
and wasn't as good just straight up. And then Blaney and Reddick kind of got caught in traffic, and that was also like another thing that just really put a damper on everything. Like it was like, oh well, he's like 4 seconds out, and it's gonna take a Herculean effort to get back up there. I don't know. It was just like everywhere that this finale could give me blue balls, it did.
I have the note on here for our next topic. I still feel like this was one of the better finales at Phoenix, which again, low bar to clear, but of the 4 now, I feel like this was the best.
Yeah.
There was a race at the end.
Exactly.
Better than the last 4, so.
Last year Blaney was trying to make it a race for the win, but then they were like, hey, buddy, remember, you don't have to pass the one car. The year before, Blaney was running second to Joey Logano and wasn't in the championship 4. And then
Larson and Elliott,
it's a good point that
end.
Yeah, it's a good point that it probably was the best, but it's not
the low bar.
It has to clear a very, very low bar because there's not been many good races at this track in general.
Dude, just like watching Blaney get stuck behind Larson for God knows how many laps he was, and like it's not like he wasn't trying. It just like it made me just think the whole time. I was like, why are we here? Like, why is this where we're deciding this at? Like, come on, Yeah.
So in the State of the Sport address on Friday, it was brought up that like, oh well, we could also do it at Charlotte, at Vegas, at Homestead. All of those would be better options, right? Like we all okay. Davey, for our audio folks, Davey's waving his hands.
Yeah.
You race in locales. One of them is your home locale. One of them is Miami. One of them is Las Vegas. And that's not counting like other ones that could work well, like Nashville. Why are we not going there for the finale? Like, why are we in Arizona?
Because the state of Arizona paid NASCAR a bunch of money to have the finale there.
I'm aware.
Okay.
But maybe they should pay a little bit of money to make their track not suck absolute.
Well, they've tried.
Bad word.
They tried.
I was going to say, it's the same thing with Supercross, because they used to end the season in Las Vegas, and now they end it in Salt Lake City, because the Utah Sports Commission pays a butt ton of money to have that there.
Great. That's exciting. Like, so now the winner gets to celebrate in...
Go hang out with some Mormons.
I mean, if you like blonde girls, that's probably pretty good to be in Utah.
Yeah, but I also think maybe some of these people like going to a city and getting drunk after.
Oh.
Okay. Well, anyway.
You can get drunk in Utah.
Again, reiterating the Mormon point.
You get drunk in Utah.
And the Utah point.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like, imagine it's the greatest accomplishment of your life as a racer, and then you get to celebrate in Phoenix, Arizona. Isn't that where everybody wants to be?
Look at their building.
Come see the hill. God. It's just
You're just driving past retirement communities. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a worse version of Florida.
Just doesn't make any sense. At least,
At least Florida has like green stuff.
stuff happens in Florida.
Out there,
So,
it's
not
like
good
yellow
Not great
and
stuff.
Yeah.
That was my joke to make.
I can vouch. There's not a lot of great stuff happening over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's probably time for it to move. It'll be in Phoenix next year, and then I think there's a lot of folks that are probably advocating for having it rotate, and I think eventually that will be the case.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of smoke that it's going to be in Homestead in 26. So
Please.
Well, let's
look forward to that.
hope So,
God.
Justin Allgaier finally wins a championship in the NASCAR
What
Xfinity
an
Series.
unreal drive. Obviously, he had to get some help, but who doesn't get
Never a
help
dull
over the
moment.
course of a race to win a race?
Apparently the left side tires they put on were the ones they had to take off earlier in the race because they were going flat.
Yep.
Did you see that?
I was doing the math. I thought they were out of tires, and then they changed 4, and I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure those left sides are scuffs. So,
Yeah, they were the bad ones.
They were.
God,
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so-
that was a great battle.
yeah, I'm just gonna get this part out of the way early. Like, I'm a rare Justin Allgaier fan. There's not much of us out there. But goddamn, did that feel good? Obviously I got a Larson title a few years ago, but this is the first time my guy, my main dude, has ever become a race champion. So it's pretty cool. And in typical Justin Allgaier fashion, they had problems and then they snowballed like crazy, and then they got that one lucky break with that late caution, and dude put on just a ridiculous drive to go catch Cole Custer at the end of this race. It was insane.
For sure. And I'm neither here nor there with Justin Allgaier. Some days I like him. Some days I just
He's a
can't stand him.
wet
Some
blanket.
days I think that guy is an idiot. What is he doing?
I mean,
Which I think is a fair thing to think about Justin Allgaier, especially this season, because he threw a lot of good things away.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see him finally get it. It's cool to see a championship for Dale Jr. Dale Jr. buzzed running around the Phoenix infield with that
The
damn
flag.
flag was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you-
didn't
he
let
was,
go of that
I
thing.
feel like
think
this
he
was
went
the
to bed with it.
happiest he's been for one of his drivers winning the championship.
I think so.
Oh yeah,
Which makes
I was
sense.
gonna say, because again, nothing against Chase Elliott and William Byron and
Tyler Reddick. Gotcha.
Those were all guys. Reddick a little different, but Elliott and Byron were very much like Rick Hendrick coming in this is one of our guys and we want you to build a champion out of him, right? Allgaier has been his guy. He specifically picked him to come drive the 7 car, and he's been in their car for 9 years now. So they've been and Junior, every time he ever talks about the Xfinity program, he raves about how important Justin's been to that program. So you could tell this one really meant a lot to them.
Yeah, it must be
And-
really nice to see your guy get it done.
Yeah. Because JRM, I feel they've always been a good team and everything, but they didn't really become the multi-car powerhouse until Allgaier and Brandt showed up and made the 7 a rock that it is.
Yeah.
I
mean,
but yeah,
I would say that's.
oh, good.
I would say the 7 car is probably Junior's flagship team. I think that's probably the Junior Motorsports team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's had the same driver for close to a decade now.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, throwing stuff away, this race snowballed out of control at one point because
Oh
there
my
was
God.
the restart violation, and then there was the contact
yeah.
with Riley Herbst, which led to a cut tire, which then led to a restart violation, which then led to him speeding on pit road. And I was just watching this here we go again. They can't just have one problem. It always has to snowball out of control. And then they get the caution late, and again, didn't make it easy on the final couple restarts because you get another late caution and you have the gamble by Austin Hill, and Austin Hill nerfs Cole Custer in turn 1 on a restart, and Allgaier slides through, and then they almost wreck 3 wide on the next restart. And And it was funny going into the final corner that like Riley Herbst caught him and he just literally like waved him by, like just take it, I don't even want it. Like, and it was probably a good thing he did because Riley did say he was going to move Justin Allgaier if he got to him.
I don't blame him. Like,
God,
yeah.
But so I'm happy about that, and also props to Riley Herbst because that was a hell of a drive. I think they were probably the best car all day. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So way to send Stuart Haas out on top as well. So.
Heck yeah.
Not with the championship, though. Ty Majeski won the truck championship Friday night. Good for Ty Majeski.
Yeah, not much happened in this race.
I don't have any recollection of this race, even though I watched all 150 laps of it.
Yeah, same.
Actually, same, yeah.
Frankie Muniz spun out in front of the leaders at one point and almost killed Corey Heim.
Yeah. Shout out to...
Yeah.
I was going to say, shout out to Fox for, like, doing a commercial every 10 laps and then having a commercial break with 14 laps to go.
I wasn't even surprised by that one. I was like,
Phoenix,
yeah, of course this is happening.
A 1 mile track. Also, shout out to Fox for not having pre-race coverage and just pretty much being straight to the, like, pre-race ceremonies and, like, the anthem and the, like, very low value budget for a
Truck
championship.
Series can't get off that network faster, man.
Well, they're going to be on it for another 6 years probably, so.
Kill me.
Thank God they're doing IndyCar next year.
I'm so happy that Fox, like, puts time, like, I know everyone, like, craps on them, like, oh, they do too much pre-race, they should have more post-race, but, like, you do need a little bit of pre-race. Like, I would have liked to see interviews with the Championship 4 drivers or something, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not just like, oh, well, this is a pre-taped interview that we did out on the grid 20 minutes ago, right before the race started.
Great, thanks, guys.
Also, I'm quite concerned about Fox's coverage in general, what it looks like next year, because I don't think that I'm pretty sure they lost their Charlotte studio, like, to some other group in Fox. So now they're just kind of like in the broom closet calling the race because they don't send their announcers out to the track once they stop broadcasting.
Good night.
But maybe Rick Allen will be back to Truck Series broadcasts. Who knows?
Oh, okay. Well,
that would be an upgrade over Jamie Little.
It would.
Honestly, Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip were a pretty good team.
Oh,
they
yeah.
met together.
So
Make the Speed Channel again.
Make the Speed Channel again. I'll pay $5 a month for a Speed Channel with, like, actual good quality product.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Not like Racing America. Not paying for Racing America.
No, I'm not.
It's not bad. It's just I'm not paying for it. Anyways,
all right, man. We have a hell of a discussion to get to now.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you guys start. But playoff format, does it work? Do we like it? Do we want to scrap it? Do we want to make changes to it? I want to go first because I just had this idea.
Go for it.
All right, here's my grand idea of how to fix NASCAR in the playoff format.
Oh boy, this is gonna be good.
Top 16 in points.
Yeah.
If you win a race in a round, you advance to the next round. But that's the only time it's winning you're in.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good hybrid format.
Yeah.
You can keep the 10 race playoff, the winner takes all final race, which I know is the big, which I never know what people's biggest problem with the current playoff format is because it's always something different every week. That seems to be the biggest problem. So I would like everyone to get on the same page. But to that, I think the largest problem is having guys that are, 30th in points that are irrelevant all year, having an opportunity at a championship, especially in a sport like racing. It's a little bit different with like college basketball, right? That's what makes March Madness so fun is, a 15 can beat a 2 seed or a, 14 can beat a 3, but also it's college basketball. And you have a large-ish sample size to run off of going into that tournament. And most of the time, teams that make the tournament are definitely deserving and have had consistent success. And in the cases that the teams haven't had consistent success, they've at least gone out and won their conference tournament. So that means they strung together 3 or 4 wins when it was really important to. And there's at least a little bit of a pattern. Yeah. Where, we saw Harrison Burton had his win, which, again, we talked about it, great for Harrison, but definitely not great for the playoff format. said it, Joey Logano, statistically the worst champion. He would not have been in under my format. Guys like Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, who had very good seasons, and Chris
Fringe
Buescher
top
would
10
have
cars,
been in.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's my middle of the ground solution that I know nobody would actually agree with or agree to, but I'll let you guys go ahead and talk about why you hate the playoffs.
Matt,
God,
you go.
I'm scrolling through this the diecast Sharv like playoff grid, and it just pisses me off first off to see Joey Logano first overall season rank 15th. The only other person that close is Alex Bowman in 9th, ranked 13th, and then you get down to Harrison Burton ranked 34th. Like, that's so bad.
God.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm just like, yeah, it provides the like cheap fun entertainment, but I've really grown to hate the like single race championship decider, because like this Joey Logano title is such a perfect example of that, where like you get a fortuitous break because somebody gets DQ'd, and then you play fuel strategy right, and that gives you 2 extra weeks to prepare your car for a race, and then you're champion, even though you haven't been a factor, not only all season, but even in the playoffs, you know? Like, he didn't even crack the top 8 after the Roval, and he's champion. Like, what are we doing here?
Better than you.
Well, he should be. He gets paid to do it, and I don't. Yeah,
Davey.
I don't know, man.
We have a serious problem. I think we're starting to have a serious problem. I think it gets said a lot, and it gets said to the point where people like us who have been around the sport for a long time and don't tend to completely overreact to everything. We kind of hear the people who are making all the noise about the playoffs and stuff, and we're kind of like, oh geez, this again. But I think we're actually at a point now where we have a problem. Between Harrison Burton and Joey Logano's seasons being saved by a fluke win, and that was what Joey Logano's win was. It was a fluke win. To the fiasco we had at Martinsville, that is just one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen play out. Not knowing how to explain it to, like, Lauren, my fiance, who is a newer fan, like, not knowing how to explain what just happened, or like there being so much to explain that it's not even worth it, and just what are we doing? It's at the point now where I don't know what we are doing. Like, we are making a mess of ourselves every week to do this nonsense format that is stupid and tough to explain and doesn't reward the right things. Like, I've been very open with for the playoff format. I think a bracket style competition exists in motorsports. I love that they're doing the bracket competition next season, like the little summer thing that they're doing. I love that. But the fact that we are determining a champion with this, and it is leading to veterans in our sport doing what they did at Martinsville, or teams like the number 21 team with Harrison Burton. I love the kid, but he ran dead last all season, got into the playoffs over teams like the 23 team or the 1 team or the 17 team who have had great seasons. It's said to death, but like really think about that. Like, those teams deserve to have a shot to fight for a championship, or at least fight to finish better than 16th. Those were not 16th place teams. Those were not 16th through 20th place teams. They're just not. And it's ridiculous, and this determines so much. I mean, it's the payout, and like it just I rack my brain every week trying to come up with an excuse for the playoffs, because I was open to them, and the excitement is undeniable, but the excitement dulls. You know, like, we got to Martinsville and it's like, okay, well, whatever, and then all the stuff happens at the end, and I wasn't even like freaking out about it. I was just over it. I was just so sick and tired of it, and it carried over Championship Sunday this weekend. I wasn't excited. I've been a NASCAR fan my whole life, and I just didn't care. What I would do to fix it, God, I mean, what hasn't been said at this point, right? I think you could have. I like the 10. I like the 10 car chase. I like the evolve chase that we came up with over time. I like having a couple of wild cards for race winners who aren't in the top. However many people get in on points or whatever. Like I like that stuff. Winning you're in, absolutely. I don't like it. Elimination rounds, I don't like it. Yeah, it takes a lot to get me to be apathetic about NASCAR. It takes a lot. I went through my apathy phase with NASCAR a while ago, almost a decade ago now, and I got back into it because I really wanted to support and love what I grew up with. And I'm not going to sit here and say that what I grew up with doesn't exist anymore. I think that's a bit asinine, but I do think that I am disappointed with where we're at, and I wish that we had better because we deserve it, and NASCAR deserves it. And the men and women who spend a lot of time working on these race cars and building these race teams, and in various departments at these race teams, they all deserve better. And watching shit shows like Martinsville go down is just like it was just demoralizing as a fan. And this isn't like a call to action kind of thing, but I really am just like almost over it. Like it's just I got nothing left.
Yeah.
That's me.
I mean, that pretty much sums it up perfectly. Like, it's just become a farce. And I really think that Martinsville is going to be a race that breaks things. Just because, I mean, the only other historical precedent was Richmond 2013. And that led to what we have now. Where it is funny that a complete farce led to NASCAR creating a system that just created more chaos.
They just multiplied it by 3.
Yeah, and it's such a like boomer traditionalist take, but part of me wants to see the return to full season titles because it's a lot like what we talk about just in terms of races in general. Like, not every race can be an absolute banger, and you can't make every title battle like that, but you do get those ones that are classics still. Obviously there is an argument for the chase, and I'd probably be fine with the 10 car, even the 12 car chase at this point, but it's like, I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm kind of over the playoffs. Like, it's frustrating to go into this, like, just from my own personal experience as an Alex Bowman fan, and just after the Roval being like, oh, it's just fully done. There's no hope that he's going to be able to claw his way back in at all. It's over. Just cut him off. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know. It's demoralizing as a fan to watch when it goes wrong. Which a lot of sports is like that, but the trade-off is we got a complete farce to determine the final 4. So I don't know. Like, I guess this is what NASCAR wanted, because nobody really seems happy about it. So I don't know.
Those are just bots on Twitter.
Wouldn't doubt it.
I feel like those are comments that we should talk about, and I guess I can explain them. Mike Ford, I forget what position he has. What is Joe? Do you know? Do you remember?
I don't. But it's
higher up at NASCAR.
A VP position.
VP position at NASCAR.
Didn't he used to be Denny Hamlin's crew chief, or am I misremembering
that?
Yeah.
And Denny Hamlin was actually speaking to him, and he commented about how people are really mad about the playoff format, and his actual quote wasn't as bad as it sounds, but he did basically dismiss all the complaints. You can't really pay attention. There's a lot of bots on there, which, like, come on, man. Like, what do you think? There's people botting NASCAR accounts to like complain about the playoffs? Like, what do you? Yeah, the comment was more innocent than is being portrayed by a lot of fans, but. Dude, what are you thinking?
We like what we're seeing.
Do you think it's that serious? Like, do you think people are botting these things? People,
yes.
Like, I don't. Maybe they're botting the good race polls, but I feel like if anyone's botting the good race polls, they're botting the good race polls. Yes, most of the time. It's just overall though, just such a short-sighted, narrow-minded, dismissive comment towards the fans of the sport that loves to proclaim that they are for the fans and they care about the fans. I don't know what good saying something like that does, but they said it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't
Look, it's like
understand.
we've been on record too talking about like one of the reasons why NASCAR got into such a mess was like they started listening to fans and fans can't figure out what the hell they want, you know.
Yep.
And it's complaining about something and then they try it and then complaining about it because it didn't work and we want the old thing back, and it was like, make up your goddamn mind.
Yep.
It's like, I understand that frustration from a higher up perspective, but like when you have a driver who you used to work with is telling you that, and he's like, don't listen to them, and it's like, no, Denny Hamlin probably hates it too. So
A lot of drivers do. I saw Brad being more outspoken about it, and
yep.
and I see those comments not as a bad omen. I see those comments as maybe some hope on the horizon. Personally, glass half full kind of guy. Those like drivers wouldn't be saying anything negative about the playoffs if there was no chance that they'd be changed. They'll say there's no chance. Dale Jr. will go on his podcast and say there's no chance to get rid of him. Denny Hamlin will say the same thing. But the fact that they are saying these things openly and outwardly now gives me that little bit of hope that there is some wiggle room. And I do hope we can move to something. You know what? I really like the idea of a chase. If we're going to have a point reset, I like the idea of a chase where it's 10 to 12 people and then 2 people get in on the wild card, like I said. I would not hate that. That would be at least normal and easy to explain, and you can still do your stage racing if you really want it. You can still do your bonus points if you really want it, you know, like there's, I don't know. Basically my point is everyone, I mean, fans, drivers, everyone is up in arms about this. I've never seen it like this widespread.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it helps when you have, like everybody's pointed out, a champion with an average finish of 17th, which is literally the worst. And
gets out of the car and
however many
says,
years.
"I love the playoffs."
Yeah.
Wow.
He knew what he was
That
doing,
is
though.
That is a damning answer.
He knew what he was doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What a mess.
Yeah. To me, two things can be right at the same time. I've seen a lot of people like, oh, well, Joey, like, people like to call people merchants, right? Joey Logano is a playoff merchant, blah, 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 blah. Joey Logano is still a hell of a good race car driver. He still won 3
absolutely.
championships under a flawed format, but he's still a 3-time champion. Everyone else knew the rules. Everyone else, except for
all you got to do is look
Chevrolet
at how many
Toyota,
race wins he has. So.
played by the rules. Yeah, exactly. Daytona 500 champion and all that. So, I mean, it's the same thing people did about Jimmy Johnson, right? They tried to discount his 7 championships. That's how I know I'm going to get Davies.
Yeah.
Don't I know it?
So, but don't forget, he won those 7 championships in, 3 different formats?
I fight for that. Oh, I fight for his goddamn GOAT status every day of my life.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird spot for NASCAR to be in, with the schedule already announced for next year without making, because I feel like the schedule, especially in the playoffs, is so critical to the races that are selected.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, why is Talladega in the round of 8? You can go back a couple weeks when the schedule was announced. We talked about it. There's a couple things in there that are like, why is it this way? It doesn't make sense. Gateway in New Hampshire being in the first 2 rounds. Another one.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know if anything happens for next year, but maybe the year thereafter. Or maybe this is all just bundled into the charter agreement and the teams don't know because they haven't finished reading the 1,000-page document they were probably sent. Let's
Control F, playoff, no chase. Oh,
Matt, let's go ahead and go from the shop. There we go.
attaboy.
This was Stuart Haas Racing's last week in business. A lot of sad posts. I saw the pictures of Tony Stewart giving a speech to all the SHR people at the track after last night's race. Noah Gragson, I think, ended up finishing top 10, so they got one more top 10 out of the 10 car.
I've got the results pulled up. Hang on. P12.
Oh, never mind. He was running in the top 10.
Had a great
Some
day.
point.
Yeah.
Everyone else was bad.
Yeah.
Ryan Preece was having a good day until his tire blew.
Ryan
Yeah,
Preece
something
is a
broke.
menace.
Also, big
Corley Joy is a
goddamn
menace.
shout out to the social media team for posting the picture of Gregson, Barry and
Briscoe.
like walking down pit road, like off into the sunset. And I was like, hey, you guys have 4 cars, you know? Where's
They
the
didn't
4th guy?
know. That's the thing. They didn't know that.
Just like,
I truthfully don't know if they knew that.
Well, remember when the stories came out in the middle of the year that like Ryan Preece was just kind of on the outside of the other 3 SHR guys, and like they were all getting sim time and he wasn't, and weird.
what, like
There was also a plan for all the SHR cars to go to the front stretch, or I guess technically the back stretch of the post race or something like that, like to get a photo op or something done. And Ryan Preece wasn't told that, so he went down pit road. And then Noah Gragson over the radio was told that. And then he was like, where's the 41 car? And then this crew chief said, oh, the 41 car didn't show up. And he said, here's my surprised face.
Jesus Christ.
Check it out. If you're beefing with Noah Gragson, you're probably right. So shout out Ryan Preece.
God.
So there's just a lot of weird vibes over there this year as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of sums up their last few years, actually.
It's
out
funny
Alex
because their
Zachary,
Xfinity
fullback.
team seems like they're having a lot of fun. And then
Well,
all
they
4
probably
guys
are.
seem miserable.
Because they're
Cole
winning.
Custer's slamming beers when he wins. Riley Herbst is actually getting a personality. And
Yeah.
then there's the SHR Cup team.
God.
Noah
yeah.
Gragson fresh off a suspension. Chase Briscoe forgot how to drive.
Barry and Briscoe are accounted for, and Gregson are accounted for in the Cup Series next year. Priest still is not, but RFK is supposedly having some big announcements in the next 2 weeks.
Well, they did have. I'm pretty sure RFK had like an Instagram post that had like Brad Keselowski walking away talking to Priest. So
Oh,
They did.
at least
The-
Ryan
the
Priest was
worst kept
included
secret
some
in the garage.
pictures.
yeah, somebody
he was
remembered.
He was in more RFK photos than he was SHR.
I wonder where he's going next year.
I wonder what car he tested at Homestead a couple weeks ago.
Oh my
Hint, hint, it's the 60 car.
But yeah, I don't know. SHR kind of went out with a whimper, didn't they?
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
We'll see where their charters go. 2 of which were accounted for as part of the lawsuit that's ongoing.
Speaking of,
There is just a
speaking
really
of-
funny thought of Gene Haas being forced to field 3 cars next year.
3 extra
Just being like,
against his will.
oh
Well, no,
God, I gotta
yeah.
find another driver.
I almost wonder if what happens is like they have a deal with him, and those cars are like made out of the 2311 and front row shops, but they're like they say they're Gene Haas's on the entry list.
2311 just has to build one weird Ford every week.
Are they going to build Fords with Toyota engines? Like,
Well, they could still be Toyotas. I don't. There's no rule that says all your cars have to be the same manufacturer, is there?
really? Is there no rule?
No, there's
I don't
not,
think
but
so.
there's not, but like I don't think Ford would be very happy about that.
Right.
No.
Right, but here's
So.
the thing. Deal with it, punk. Also, Haas Factory Team is not getting Tier 1 Ford support. Let's be very clear
Oh,
about
absolutely
No.
not.
that. They are now the just above Rick Ware Racing, probably.
Well,
Even
'cause
then,
they're-
who knows?
There was a thing that people were sharing around too, and we do this run around every year, it seems. But NASCAR was saying that they are having discussions with a 4th OEM, and it's like Haas Factory Team,
Oh.
prime example for the like second new team or second team for whatever new OEM eventually
Yeah.
enters, if when. So
Well, that's the thing. Ford probably wants to keep them because that's their only Xfinity program with any worth.
yeah,
Womp womp.
But on the lawsuit,
All that. yeah, all that said, the main reason we're talking about it like this, did we ever say like what actually?
Yeah, so 2311 in front row, their injunction was denied, so they will not have the right. Currently, they can appeal the denial, but they will not be able to race under the charter agreement without having to sign the charter agreement as of right now next year. Denny Hamlin had previously said, Michael Jordan had said the same, that they were going to run next year no matter what. Hamlin's changed his tune since, because part of the argument that was used against them was, well, they're going to race next year anyways, so why do they need said injunction? They could just recoup the money after the lawsuit, which is actually a very valid argument to make.
Especially in a courtroom.
Courtroom. But discovery has been expedited in the case, so that is also an interesting tidbit there. So it kind of seems like you win one, you lose one for both sides. Because I feel like NASCAR probably wants to not open their books.
Yeah.
But I also think 2311 in front row probably want to,
Have a charter,
yeah.
quote unquote.
Especially because one of their drivers has a clause in his contract that he can leave the team if he's not driving a chartered car.
Only the
Reddick
best
for those
driver
in there.
across both teams' lineups. He totally didn't make the final
One
four.
of the
or
best
anything.
drivers in the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the top 5 drivers in the sport. Now, will he leave? Who knows?
You know who is
It'd
leaving,
be kind
though?
of funny if he did.
I don't think it would be.
I think it'd be pretty funny. I think
No.
it'd be hilarious if Tyler Reddick
No.
leaves a team twice in his career without like any notice to them whatsoever.
Not funny.
Be kind of funny.
No.
I wouldn't
you could
like
kind
it.
of throw
I'm not saying I'd
JRM
like
into
it.
that mix too. Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
That one was kind of abrupt.
True.
So Tyler Reddick just doesn't know how to quit correctly. He's not a good quitter.
Quiet quitter.
He's a quiet quitter. Wait, Tyler, why
Irish goodbyes out of every team.
are you driving the 45 car now? I thought you were going to be in the 8.
Yeah, Richard Childress is like, wait, hang on, don't we have that guy on payroll still? Wait a second. When did Kyle Busch get here?
Stop showing up. Like RCR is they're just under the impression the entire time Reddick's gonna be racing, and like name on the door. They show up to the track. Tyler Reddick shows up in a fire suit with a 45 on it. Good stuff.
FedEx announced over the weekend that they are leaving Joe Gibbs Racing, Denny Hamlin, and NASCAR altogether.
Not great.
Nope.
Don't
Also,
love it.
like, so little fanfare about it. Like, I would have figured at least like a throwback paint scheme or something would have been in the books.
Yeah, I don't think
like,
FedEx
under the
cared.
radar.
I don't think FedEx
Yeah.
really cared I think they were just fulfilling their contract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
not
Notice
great.
more
even if
FedEx ads on TV too.
if you're Joe Gibbs, you can just paint the car black and be like, look, it's a throwback to Denny's rookie year.
Yeah,
it could've
not
saved
great. I mean,
money.
A lot of people were kind of blown up about it. Like, big partners are leaving. See NASCAR, this is what's happening. It's like, well, like there's a lot of sponsors that have come in that are pretty cool too. You know?
Yeah.
To also be fair on that note, Denny Hamlin's been one of the more successful drivers in the last 5 years, and he still lost a sponsor. So,
True.
I don't know what more NASCAR could do,
Exactly.
if that's what the argument is.
Make it more valuable. Well, how?
Literally, it's win and you're
Make it
in.
more valuable.
The
Winning
car
is
is
more
already
valuable now than anything.
the car is already a giant billboard. Like, I don't know what more you could do.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So UPS could do the funniest thing ever, though. Let's go ahead and go to our bottom split moments of the week. I want to go second this week.
Okay.
So
Okay.
who wants to go first?
Sure, I'll go. I guess. Tottenham Hotspur. Common theme already. So in one of my recent, I forget if it was a bottom split or a road to pro. But this week they're bottom split. I remember talking about how like, oh, we gifted a team their first win in the Premier League this season, and then we went on to beat the best team in Europe, and then one of the best teams in Europe 2-1 and 4-1 respectively. Haha, this is really funny, right? So Tottenham Hotspur played Ipswich Town on Sunday morning. Ipswich Town won 2-1. Ipswich Town, that was all. They were the last team in the Premier League without a win before they faced us. And that was their first win in the Premier League since, you guys guessed the year. It's not as crazy as you think.
1995.
I'm going to say 2018.
2002.
Oh my god.
We gave that team their first win in the Premier League since 2002. We beat the best team in Europe like a week ago. I don't understand what's going on. Topsy-turvy. Everything's crazy. God forbid Tottenham Hotspur ever have a boring match.
European soccer is just college football.
College football is just European soccer.
No, college football is superior in every way.
Ooh, no, it's not.
The most notable thing about Ipswich Town is club sponsor and minority stakeholder Ed Sheeran is honorably issued squad number 17.
Yeah, you'll never guess who was in fucking attendance watching us get thumped 2-1 at home. Ed fucking Sheeran. They showed his ass on camera. I wanted to punch him.
Baby,
Oh,
we
Fucking hell.
found love right where...
They're also called the Tractor Boys because they're farmers.
Hell yeah.
I'm sick to my stomach.
That sounds like a team from Kansas, if I've ever heard one. Tractor Boys. Okay. I have a very sad bottom split moment.
Oh, no.
Bottom split moment this week, late last week. Kirk Herbstreit posted that his dog, Ben, had passed away from cancer. Ben was an amazing dog. He was the goodest of boys. As someone that has a older golden retriever, struck me very close. Just wanted to send along condolences, and yeah, Ben was a legend on college game day, and it's always nice when you can see someone's love for their pet, and it was cool that we were able to see that and have that shared with us in last year. So that was my bottom split moment of the week. Not funny in any way, but actually very sad. So, yeah.
All right, I'll change up the tone then.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go in the middle.
Moment. So, like 2 weeks ago when I was working on my car, my sunglasses were sitting on my hat, and while I was just sitting there, one of the lenses just fell out onto the ground, and the frame broke while it was on my head. So I was like, all right, I'm going to actually buy some kind of decent sunglasses. I bought Shady Rays. It's not a great brand, but it is what it is. Their warehouse is in San Leandro, California, which is about a 3-hour drive away from my house. And over the last 2 weeks, my package went from San Leandro to Sacramento, to Salem, Oregon, to Portland, Oregon, to Indianapolis, Indiana, and then finally to my house. I could have drove there and got it, and instead they sent it across the fucking country. So big shout out to UPS. Anytime anybody tells you that private corporations should replace the USPS, that's why they shouldn't. So, because I just couldn't get a hold of anybody, and then if I were to ask them, they would have just been like, tough shit. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what. For every good UPS story, I hear the most nightmarish UPS story in return. Like,
dude,
they do some good stuff sometimes, and then when they shit the bed, I swear to God, they shit the entire house. Like, it's not just the bed. Like, it is horrible.
I will say this, as somebody who has a very close friend who's been a UPS driver for 5 years, I'll tell you why it's like that. It's because UPS hates their employees. So, if you haven't been following them, like UPS, okay, not to go too into like labor politics, but like if your workers are unionized, it's because you did something wrong. And there's been a push for the last 2 years by UPS's union to get air conditioning put in their trucks, and they won't do that, but they have put in cameras that stare at your face and will scream at you if you're looking away from straightforward too often. And my roommate was talking about he was backing up the other day and looking in his mirror, and it started beeping at him and screaming at him, and it almost made him crash. And he was like, why is this in my truck? So, yeah. Good job, UPS.
Oh my god.
Also, special shout out in this bottom slip moment of the week to Eddie DeHaan for just not telling Justin Allgaier he was 3 wide on the last restart and almost causing his driver to throw away his first championship. So, big shout out, bro.
That's one of the longest tenured spotters in the sport. You better show him some respect.
No.
He should be in jail.
There's nobody in sports I respect less than spotters.
Davey, what's your road to pro moment this week?
Oh, you came to... Oh, God. I don't... It's my road to pro moment. God, I don't
It's okay if you don't have one. That's fine.
No, I'm going to come up with one.
This was a week to not have one.
No, you're right. 100%. Well, we got back on every internet person, every person who was raised on the internet goes through a Minecraft phase every year that lasts about a week and a half. We got back into the Minecraft phase, and I'm currently halfway through it. I'm trying to push through. It's absorbing my life, and once I'm done, I can finally go back to being a normal human. I feel so bad for Lauren, but I'm trying to push through this phase, and I'm trying to make myself sick of it to where I make myself sick of it, and then I'm out of the phase. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm in the phase, and I'm loving every second of it.
It's like old school RuneScape. Nobody quits it. You just take longer and longer breaks from it.
That is so accurate. Oh my god. It's so accurate. But yeah, that's my road to pro. Playing Minecraft is pretty fun with everybody. But I also need to stop.
Matt,
Joe, do you have
can
one?
probably guess what my road to pro mint.
Is it the Lions?
Was this week.
Road to pro mint.
Road to pro mint. It's late. Maybe I'm drunk. I don't know. I'm not. But
It is
I
pushing
wish
10
I was.
o'clock for you.
Boy, howdy.
Is it the Detroit Lions?
It is the Detroit Lions. They were down 23-7 at halftime. I was on the phone with one of my friends, and I said, if the Texans come out and score on this opening drive, I'm going to bed. First play of the second half, they're showing a recording of a Dan Campbell interview coming out of the locker room, and as the man says, we have to get a turnover quick in this half, the Lions pick it off, only for Jared Goff to throw his 4th interception of the game on the ensuing possession in the end zone.
It was literally 2 plays later, which was the best part.
And then the Lions get the ball back and drive down the field, and they score a touchdown, and then they miss the 2-point conversion, and then Jared Goff later in the game throws then the Texans are driving, and C.J. Stroud throws an absolute terrible ball that hung up in the air for way too long, and the same guy
one of
picks
the
off the
funniest
ball again
interceptions
on the
ever,
Texans.
because it was there was literally nobody within 20 yards of the receiver, and he somehow
And here comes
still threw
Carlton
an
Davis.
interception.
It was still a pick. But yeah, the Lions end up winning 26-23. Defense shut them out in the second half. Defense actually played a pretty good game. Pretty much what happened was the Texans had one really quick drive at the end of the first half to score a touchdown, and they had another drive that was aided by another awful Terrion Arnold penalty. But
Bro needs to learn how to play defender.
not uses. Yeah, he's. You can get away with a lot of what he does in college, and he's just not adjusting.
Yeah,
He's just got.
I love the stat you put in the Oofside server that Jared Goff is 7-0 in games where he throws 4 interceptions.
7-0. Man never has to pay for his sins.
God.
But yeah, and then the Lions' last 2 field goals they kicked to tie it and then win the game, literally sneaking into the uprights by a freaking piece of paper. It was awesome. It's great. Finally, the football gods shine down upon us.
One of the
Matt,
funniest games of football I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably my road pro still just Justin Allgaier's title. Goddamn.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a long time coming.
Respectable.
I'm happy.
So, all right, folks. Well, that was Fake Racers podcast for this season. Thanks for watching, for listening, for all that you do for us.
Just hard cut the episode right there.
Right.
Right, bye.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
No outro.
Don't, please don't. We have driver grades next week.
We will have driver grades next week, and then we will have an off season where we will enjoy time to recuperate and sing Kumbaya and hug each other
And scream about the playoffs some more.
Yeah.
Or, no, I wouldn't do that.
No, you're a Russian bot. JTN this week. We got 2 races left in the Maverick Cup Series. Tuesday, the 12th, and then the following Tuesday, whatever that is, the 19th. Encourage you to go watch that. Bomb Squad also this week on Thursday from the Bristol Motor Speedway, so tune in for that one. David, what you got this going on?
Twitch.d7h5 or with the ER at the end, baby. Hopefully something happens.
Streaming Minecraft?
Probably could, but no. I did so something. I think the last driver update for my my card or whatever, like, it was just something messed up. Something was messed up. I could not stream iRacing at all, but I think it's finally actually really fixed. I think I can actually stream. And if I can't, then I'm just gonna jump off a bridge and,
Please don't jump off a bridge.
I'll jump off a small bridge and hope.
Maybe like roll my ankle.
Yeah, I'll jump off a bridge in Minecraft. How's that?
Yeah. There we go.
Matt, you got anything going on?
We'll have sides. It'll be a much more buttoned up show this week. Last week was messy for understandable reasons, but it was still a good show. I felt like we had fun. We're trying out some new formatting stuff. So
Yeah.
Dewey wrote poetry about every goddamn game, so that was awesome. I was literally like,
That's a must
hey,
listen.
Yeah.
write up like a 30-second intro for each game that we selected. And Dewey's like, yeah, so I just wrote poems. So
It was great. Dewey's a poet. He missed his calling.
He did. I don't know if it picked up,
say-
but I was losing my mind during the first one that he did.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. See,
Oh my god.
yeah, we thought Dewey should have been a rapper, not a brapper. But anyways,
Ugh.
folks, sorry, I had to ruin
Miracle,
it.
spiritual miracle.
Oh.
I had to ruin it.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks.
Well, if you want more jokes like that, listen to Oof Sides. So
Yeah, on Track and Turf. Right here, same YouTube
Track and
channel.
Surf.
it was
Literally, you don't
uploaded
have
on
to go
time this
anywhere.
week.
Yes.
I didn't blow it. So
Track and Surf, where
I
shopping
didn't
is a
get
pleasure.
angry at Matt this week
Yeah.
right before we started recording. It was great.
yeah.
I didn't,
I
go,
didn't
Matt,
get a
like,
stern
Matt,
talking to.
Matt, where was Oof Sides? And then Matt goes, oh, it uploaded on Saturday. And I was like, oh. Well, it was late.
And then I don't realize that the other episode never went public because
Yeah.
RSS.com screwed
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Womp
whatever.
womp.
But thank you, folks, as always, for listening, for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week for end of season driver grades.
bye.